KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
Federal agents are expected to leave Minnesota today. We are tracking what is next for state and city leaders there.
And it's another pretty normal weather day, but look for temperatures to start increasing in a big way later this week.
In Spokane, bus drivers will follow some new guidelines when driving their routes to prevent incidents like the double-decker crash that recently happened. More to come on that. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Laura Papetti. Let's start by talking about weather. We have Thomas Patrick. He is standing by. And Thomas, you're indoors not because of the cold. It was actually because the sun was causing problems with the camera.
Yeah, so low sun angle and the camera faces straight south and it is noon. So it has the best angle to actually get right at the lens. So we had a pretty bad sun glare out there. Also, the lens might be a little bit dirty at the same time. So just keeping it inside so we're not distracted today. Just kind of a meh day overall. It's not terribly cold, but it's not a whole lot warmer, at least not just yet. We're sitting at 32 degrees, a nice improvement from yesterday, but still cool here in Spokane. Bigger differences being felt on the Palouse, where it is currently 43 in Pullman, 44 in Moscow. That is actually much, much warmer. We are running about 5 to 10 degrees warmer compared to yesterday. So a nice step upwards. Again, for some, that's put us in the 40s. Others still lagging behind in the 30s. There is some mid-level cloud cover. It is streaming to the west, but the sunshine is still strong enough to cut through that. So that's the big difference there between yesterday, where, again, the clouds were a little bit thicker overall. So our high temperatures will be pretty nice. Again, on the Palouse, our modeling already had 40s in that region. Otherwise, we're going to stay in the 30s elsewhere. This warming trend is our big story. As we look ahead at not just this weekend, but even beyond, there's going to be some big-time warmth for the West Coast. So coming up, we're going to detail the weather pattern that will be responsible for quite possibly 50 degrees in our region. It'll be here before you know it. So we'll cover the extended outlook coming up.
People are losing faith that the federal government can be capable of enforcing federal law and doing it professionally and without widespread constitutional violations.
Tracking today, President Trump seems to be changing course after pushback to shootings in Minnesota by federal agents. Minnesota leaders have been asking for this from the beginning, but especially after federal agents killed Renee Good and Alex Preddy. On social media, the president said he did speak with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. And right now, Border Czar Tim Homan is working with state and local officials. Sources tell CBS News that U.S. Border Patrol commander and some federal agents are expected to leave Minneapolis as soon as today. Here at home last night, people in Spokane held a vigil for Preddy at Riverfront Park. Organizers say they hope to honor his death and raise awareness.
The grief and the pain that we hold in our heart of what's happening for our country, we have to engage in things that are more subtle, that play to that grief.
People left flowers, candles, snacks in honor of Preddy. Some also remembered, of course, Renee Good at the same time.
ICE is, to be blunt, completely and totally out of control.
Washington Governor Bob Ferguson and Attorney General Nick Brown held a joint press conference yesterday. They explained their plans for if ICE comes to Washington, and they wrote a letter to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. In it, they said Washington will use, quote, every legal option to oppose unconstitutional conduct by ICE in Washington state. Governor Ferguson also met with Washington leaders to talk about activating the National Guard. Washington state doesn't have to cooperate with the federal government, but one state senator says this could make tension even worse.
Is taking it to a whole nother level of lawlessness. And I beg this governor, don't do this.
Ferguson is also asking state legislators to pass a bill that would ban face coverings for law enforcement officers. A follow-up on the double-decker bus crash in Spokane that sent 7 people to the hospital. New details in the investigation are looking into potential issues with the onboard navigation system. KREM 2's Mark Hanrahan breaks down what is next for Spokane Transit Authority.
A little more than a week after an STA double-decker bus slammed into the railroad viaduct in downtown Spokane, the agency outlines its path forward. The Transit Authority detailed its investigation, saying they're examining the driver's training and knowledge of the routes. They also pointed out that driver was trained and authorized to operate the double-decker bus and also had experience on the routes. They're also looking into any potential issues with the bus's onboard navigation system, saying they will coordinate with the vendor to identify the origin and scope of any potential issue. In the meantime, the fleet of double-deckers will remain out of service. No timeline for their return. Before they do return, STA says they'll implement additional safety measures. Those include another round of training for drivers on bus height awareness and routes. The navigation software has been disabled, and drivers will instead rely on the required training of assigned routes. Drivers will start making what they call safety stops before passing under viaducts, similar to how they stop at railroad crossings. And drivers will also have to check in with dispatch when coming or going from the downtown core to confirm their route. Finally, the STA saying they are confident the buses are operationally safe, and they will continue to take a disciplined approach as they move forward.
In Oregon, a climber on Mount Hood lost his life, and the accident is highlighting the dangers, of course, of climbing in winter conditions. He fell from a popular but tricky spot on Mount Hood. Experts say many hikers are taking advantage of the warm, sunny weather, but the steep and icy terrain makes it incredibly dangerous this time of year. Rescue teams say yesterday's rescue was the third emergency call in just the past few weeks.
I just want people to be aware that the conditions are going to be steeper and icier than they're expecting. I mean, this high pressure system compounded with winter conditions, it just makes for very dangerous and icy conditions.
Rescuers say the climber, 30-year-old Thomas Hostetler, fell 300 feet after losing his footing. Officials urge climbers to know the risks before heading up snowy mountains again at this time of year.